So good afternoon, dear ladies and gentlemen, and friends and colleagues. And thank you to Lasse for your nice introduction as well. I think you have covered many aspects already, but I will take you through some more details maybe. So it is my pleasure to launch the SMEs Growth Romania program. This is what we have called the program this time. It is all about business development among Romanian private enterprises. And this program also fits very well into the concept of the circular economy. We hope it will be a tool for Romanian private enterprises to really improve their businesses through partnerships and innovation. So my presentation will have two parts, and the intention is to present the overall general issues in this first presentation, and then after the break I will continue with some more practical details. So first, the general highlights about the program as such. These are the basic facts, basic information. So as I said, the name of the program this time is SMEs Growth Romania. That is what it will be referred to later on. So the overall objective of this program is to increase value creation and sustainable growth among Romanian private enterprises. And as mentioned already by both speakers, the bilateral aspect is important. And there is a great expectation from the donor side that we will have partnership projects in this program, as many as possible. And the intention is, of course, to strengthen the bilateral relations between Romania and the donor states, which includes also Iceland and Liechtenstein and Norway. Yeah. And we are aiming for long-term cooperation that will last after the project implementation. And we are also looking for partnerships that are really win-win. It should be a win-win situation for both the Romanian applicants and the Norwegian or Icelandic or Liechtenstein partner. As mentioned already, the total program budget or grant is 45 million euros. It's important to mention that we are operating with euros all the time, meaning that you have to prepare project application, the project budget in euros. You will receive euros from Innovation Norway when we reimburse your cost. Then about the areas of support. What will we actually support in this program? First of all, I will say that we want to support initiatives that will help your business to grow. And you can grow your business through investment or application of new innovative technologies, processes, or solutions that is already existing in the market, but they are new for your company. But you could also grow your business through development and commercialization of new products, services, or solutions. Important is for all the projects that we are going to finance that it will be sustainable business development, and of course it has to be profitable for your business. And once again, it's the SMEs that is the main target group. I understand most of the companies in Romania, they are after all SMEs, so that's why we have an SME focus. And it is the private sector. We have three focus areas in this SMEs Growth Romania program. And these three focus areas have been selected based on a consultation process with Romanian stakeholders approximately 1 year ago. The first focus area is the green industry innovation, which is similar to the program we have already implemented in the previous period. We have a very good experience with this program. We supported very good projects and generated a lot of environmental good effects. So we intend to continue the same approach as the previous program. It is, I would like to mention, as Lasse said, that Innovation Norway will also manage an energy program. So if your intention is to produce renewable energy, then you should look to the energy program. So in this business development program, we are looking for development of new solutions or technologies for the green aspect, but production of energy will belong to the energy program, which we hope to launch June, July at least. If you want to look at the projects that we have already financed under the Green Industry Innovation, you can follow the link on the slides. There you will find a presentation of all the projects that are implemented in order to get some ideas of what type of projects could be financed. But the key words are that under the Green Industry Innovation component, all the projects we support should be good for your business, but also good for the environment, so green is the key word. The second focus area we have selected is blue growth. So we believe that there is business opportunities and also room for innovation within this blue growth aspect. This means that you should use resources from sea, coast, river and lakes in order to develop business opportunities, product, services, solutions. And the third focus area is the information and communication technology, or ICT. This is already a strong sector in Romania, so it's natural to include this, but we believe that there are more potential for business development, in particular linked to digitalization, automation, and innovation. So these are the three focus areas that will be overriding all the activities in this program. The donors, they have set some program-specific requirements to this SMEs Growth Romania. First of all, 50% of the available funding should go to the Green Industry Innovation focus area. Since the target group is SMEs, the aim is to allocate 75% of the available funding to SMEs in Romania, but large enterprises are not excluded. We will also have NGOs with economic activities as eligible applicants under the small grant scheme. And once again, the bilateral partnerships, if we can have bilateral partnerships in all projects, that's just perfect, of course, but we do not expect 100% partnerships, but at least look for partnerships that can give your project value added. If you need expertise or value added technology, then we encourage you to use a partner. When it comes to the program implementation, all 8 development regions in Romania are eligible for funding. We do not have a specific focus on specific regions. It's normal to ask about the grant rate, and we will not say clearly that, okay, you will receive 50% or 30% or 70%. No, we have to look at the state aid regulations when we calculate the actual grant rate. Because there are many aspects to be taken into consideration, like the size of the applicant, type of applicant, where are the project implemented, which region in Romania, and also type of activity. So when we give public money to commercial activities, economic operators, we will use the General Block Exemption Regulation, GBER, in order to establish the correct grant rate. The selection of projects will be through open calls and competition. On the website, we will have a transparent document showing what type of criteria we will use in order to assess the project applications. We have 2 schemes, one individual grant scheme. This is the main scheme, where most of the projects or the biggest projects will come. And there will be a competition between applications in the individual grant scheme for all 3 focus areas. They are competing in this scheme. Then we have small grant schemes. We actually will have 3 small grant schemes. A small grant scheme is established because we know that NGOs and small entities, they can do a lot with only a small amount of money. And it is a requirement that the applicant come up with some co-financing, so maybe a small entity need only small money in order to be able to provide the co-financing. So there will be 1 small grant scheme for the 3 focus areas, and 1 small grant scheme for business growth in startups, which will be launched later, and also a small grant scheme for development of business skills. But those will be launched later then. The eligible project partners, okay, an applicant we call a project partner if they succeed with an application and they are offered a grant. So project promoter means applicant. In the individual project scheme, it will be private enterprises established as legal persons in Romania. The ownership of the entity could be foreign, of course, but it has to be established as a legal entity in Romania. For the small grant schemes, it will be then micro-enterprises, small enterprises, medium-sized enterprises, and NGOs with economic activities that can apply. And as mentioned in 2 of the small grant schemes, there will also be opportunities for clusters, business organizations, and similar, as long as they are also legal persons in Romania, but this will not apply then for the first call, only later on. When it comes to eligible project partners, then we say that any entity, public or private, commercial or non-commercial, as well as NGOs, are eligible as partners, and the partner could be from Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway, or from Romania, of course. Or it could be a combination. That will also be very nice. Bilateral activities. We will have bilateral activities in 2 different ways, in a way. So one is the travel support. We have opened the travel support back in July last year, and we have already allocated approximately 50,000 euros to different entities in the beneficiary state or in the donor states. But now we relaunched this travel support. It is relaunched as of today, and there is a guideline on our website that you can look at in order to see if you are eligible to apply for funding. And usually we have fixed lump sum as travel support. It's 1,200 euros if you travel to Norway, and 1,500 for travel to Iceland, and a bit less if you travel to Liechtenstein, or if you have partners coming from those donor states visiting you in Romania. Then we will have also, during the project implementation or program implementation period, we will have different type of workshop, roundtable, meeting places. So if you succeed in order to get funding for a project, then you will also be invited to participate in different type of networking events. And this has proven also to be very useful for the project applicants and partners, because you can share experience and learn more about a specific topic, or you can find new business partners also in other parts of Romania or among other partners. It is your responsibility to find a partner, and you have to establish an agreement between the Romanian applicant and the partner from the donor states. So the Romanian applicant will be responsible towards Innovation Norway. We will sign a project contract, but the partner is responsible towards the applicant, and you have to sign a partnership agreement between you and your partner that sets the division of roles, responsibilities, etc., and there is a template for a partnership agreement on our website. We also have established a function on our website. It's called Find a Partner, and we have established a list, a database, and you can register there if you want to look for a partner and you want to display this publicly. And there are also approximately 50, 60 entities registered in this list from different countries that are interested to find partners in these EA Norway grants. So then we will continue with more practical information about the first call, which is then launched today. And we have a program website, which Mihai will show you afterwards, and all the documents will be there, and also the call text will be published later today or after this session at least. And in that call text you will find all the details you need in order to prepare projects. So here are just some overall highlights. So the first call for proposals. Let me say before I forget this, that actually it was mentioned here that the program period will last until 2024. But, there is a but, for the SMEs Growth Romania program, we have decided that we would like to implement the program as quick as possible. So we have established the eligibility period for costs. It will last until 30th of April 2022. So this means that when you are planning a project, it should have maximum 2 or 2 to 3 years, but maximum 3 years of project implementation. So we launched the call today, and you will have the time until 1st of November to prepare application. Then Innovation Norway will need 4 to 6 months to assess the application. So it means that you can prepare to start your project in April, May 2019. Okay, this is important to remember, but of course it will be in the call text, all the details. So in the first call, we will cover all the 3 focus areas: green industry innovation, blue growth, and ICT. The expected outcome of the projects that we are going to finance should be increased competitiveness for the Romanian enterprise within the 3 focus areas. This means that the long-term impact of your project should be to increase the competitiveness of your enterprise as an applicant. The available amount for this call is approximately then 21 million euros, and the budget is divided between the 3 focus areas. The budgets are only indicative, and we can move between the budget lines. That means that we have set aside 9.7 million for green industry innovation, which is approximately 50% of the budget. But for the blue growth, we have set aside 6.2 million, and for the ICT, 4.8 million. But in case we receive a lot of good applications within the blue growth and fewer good applications in the ICT focus area, then we can move between these budget lines. And as mentioned, the deadline is 1st of November, and the exact timing is in the call text. We will have 2 schemes in the first call. As mentioned before, the individual project scheme is the main scheme. And then SMEs and large enterprises can apply, but it is important that it is private sector enterprises, meaning that maximum 25% could be public ownership in the enterprise. For most cases, we also require that the applicant entity has been in operation for at least 3 fiscal years at the time of the deadline of the deadline for submission of proposals. In some cases, we require only 1 year, but I kindly ask you to look carefully at the call text in order to find out under which focus areas and which conditions it is required to have been in operation for 1 year, and for which areas it is required to have been in operation for 3 years. The details are in the call text. We also say that the applicant entity should apply for activities that are closely linked to the main line of business they are already operating in. So we want to improve your present business. So meaning that if you are in the furniture industry today, you should apply for a project that will develop your business, grow your business further within the furniture sector. You should not apply for a project to start to produce shoes, for instance. Eligible partners, this goes for all the schemes, small and big schemes, that it could be any private or public entity, commercial or non-commercial, registered in Romania or in one of the donor states. And also the activity of the partner should be relevant for your project. I mean, if you find one consulting company, they have an expertise in oil sector, and you want to have them as a partner in your food project, that does not make sense. So then we will say that no, this is not a relevant partnerships, we do not accept this partnership. So the expertise or competence that you will get from the partner should be also relevant expertise for the partner and for your project. For the small grant scheme, it is exactly the same requirements for the project promoters and partners, except from the fact that for the small scheme, we cannot allow large companies to apply. It is only micro-enterprises, small enterprises, medium-sized enterprises, and NGOs. And for this first call, we only have these as eligible applicants. No clusters, no business organizations are eligible applicants in this first call. That will come at later stage. The partner eligibility is the same as for the individual scheme. We have these maximum and minimum grant rates. For the individual project scheme, you can apply for minimum 200,000 euros as the grant. And that means, at an average, you can say you will receive, just as an example, an average, 50% grant, which means that your company has to come up also with 50% co-financing. So the total budget for such a project could be around 400,000 euros, and you will apply for 200,000 euros. And the maximum grant you can apply for is 2 million euros. So if you have an average of 50% grant, you need also 2 million euros as co-financing for the project. And it is important that the applicant can document that they have the necessary co-financing, either in the form of a bank loan or that they have capital available in their bank accounts. So this is for the main scheme. For the small grant scheme, we then have smaller amounts, meaning that the minimum you can apply for is 50,000 euros. Then you could have a project, let's say, it's 100 euros, 100,000 euros, and the maximum you can apply for is 200,000 euros. So these are fixed minimum and maximum grant amounts. Then when it comes to the eligible activities, we have these 3 focus areas, and for the green industry innovation, it is linked to the fact that the industry is facing the green shift, and there is a great need for modernizing and improvement of production technology and production processes, for instance. So what we would like to see is projects that is contributing to reducing your energy consumption, fuel consumption, water consumption. We would like to see projects that is reducing the production of waste, or projects that are actually recycling or reusing waste as a new raw material for new products. But also we would like to see development and implementation, investment in innovative technologies in general. So we have a lot of examples under the Green Industry Innovation Program that was previously implemented. A lot of examples of what type of projects we are looking for. So reducing, reusing is important keywords, and the green. When it comes to the blue growth, you have, of course, the Black Sea. You have plenty of rivers and lakes in Romania. You have a coastal area. And under the blue growth component, we want you to use resources linked to waters as a component to develop business activities. We believe that there is a great potential for innovation in the blue growth section. We are looking for projects linked to biotechnology, or to utilize the resources at the seabed for new innovative products. Of course, tourism is relevant, maybe mainly small-scale tourism along the coast or along the rivers. We will also finance so-called suprastructures, maritime suprastructures. This is linked to the ports, I believe, but the structures are then all operated by private sector. We will not finance infrastructure because this is the responsibility of the public sector. We could also finance transport, waterway transport, and also, let's say, ferries that are using electricity, for instance, as a power source. So this is an area with a lot of potential, but we need innovation, and maybe also partners from Iceland, for instance, could be very helpful, and also Norway, of course, in this blue growth section. For the information and communication technology, we know that ICT is a driver for development in all economic sectors. So we foresee 2 types of projects. The first one is the development or to use an application of ICT for your industrial process or for your business operations in your existing company. So you use ICT in order to improve your processes. But the other type of projects will be more like software companies that want to develop something new and to commercial something new to put into the market. So these two types of activities we foresee in the ICT focus area. And I did not mention for the other focus areas, but training and awareness raising are eligible as a secondary activity only, but it has to be linked to the main activity that you apply for funding for. Then we have some advices. We could have a very long list of advices, of course, but just a few advices at least. First of all, as an applicant, project promoter, but also partner, we encourage you to be prepared to read all the documents that we will put on the website. Yes, there are many pages to read. There is a call text, but there are also some essential reading that you should read through in order to really be able to design a project that has the possibility to compete with other applications and to get the funding. Then about the partnership. It is very much encouraged. Use the website we have, this Find a Partner. You can register there in order to search for partners, but you have to be proactive yourself to find a partner. You could apply for travel support to visit a potential partner, but it is important to get to know the partner and before you actually enter into a partnership. And you should also be aware that of course, expertise from the donor states are more expensive very often than the expertise you can find in Romania. So then you really need to want and need this expertise or competence in order to include it in your project. Because you, as an applicant, are fully responsible for the project, meaning that you're also responsible for the co-financing. So if you have an expertise that costs you 100,000 euros, and you get a grant of 50,000 euros, meaning that you as an applicant have to actually finance these additional costs in the projects. So this means, of course, it has to be important for you to get this expertise. Then we have the resources. When you apply for funds for a new project, you have to make sure that you have the necessary resources to actually implement a new demanding project and in the parallel run your ordinary businesses. So this applies for the financial resources, technical resources, human resources, and also the time. But for the project partner, it is also extremely important that they set aside time and resources to actually be actively involved in the project. It's important that the partner have a commitment so that they will stay as a partner in the project through the whole project implementation period and not withdraw halfway. It is, of course, zero tolerance for corruption in all the EEA and Norway grants programs. And we have published a special document on our website, which is telling you what type of measures you should implement in order to adhere to good business practices. This is something that will be assessed in your project application. We will also have this as a topic during program implementation in general, but also checked during on-the-spot visit. It could also be health, safety, environmental issues, for instance, in your production facility. It could be ethical guidelines or different other aspects that is listed also in this document on the website. Of course, we would like to see high level of innovation in projects, but we know that this is not always possible. It could be innovation on a company level that is sufficient, but of course we encourage if you have new ideas that could be implemented with a grant from this program, that would of course be very nice. Then finally, sustainability. You have your businesses, you have to, of course, implement a project that is good for your business. It has to be a profitable project. And this is also something that Innovation Norway will assess carefully. We do not want applicants get into bankruptcy or financial troubles because they are implementing a huge project. So we will assess the financial situation in the applicant entity carefully together with the project, size of project, and the resources needed in order to implement the project. We could talk a lot about different, more practical issues, but I hope that you have questions in the audience and also questions online that we can deal with afterwards. So together with my colleagues here, we are available to reply to questions that you have posted online. We have a timeline, of course. We are launching the first call today, and as mentioned, it will be open until 1st of November this year. The first call for proposal that we are launching today actually has financing from the EEA financial mechanisms only. I mean, that's why partners from Iceland, Liechtenstein, and Norway are eligible. We are planning a second call in January next year, and that will be with financing only from the Norway grants, meaning that only partners from Norway will be eligible in the next call. And the third call is planned also in 2019, and that will be for the soft measures, these business development, business skill improvements, and startups. As from tomorrow, we start with regional information sessions in Romania. We will visit all 8 regions and have practical information sessions. We are cooperating with the Regional Development Agency or regional chambers of commerce to organize these events. And most information will be presented then in the Romanian language, so we hope that participants can really be there and ask questions in order to make sure that they really understand what this program has to offer. But I should mention that the language of the SMEs Growth Romania is English, since Innovation Norway is a foreign operator. We have to have all the documents in English in order for the team in Norway also to be able to assess and to be involved in the program. And all the decision making will also be made in Norway. Maybe I could mention, as there might be a question, about the principles of how we will actually deal with the money flow in the program or in the project. So this means that if you are granted a project, we offer you a grant, then you can apply for 10% advance in order to get the project off the ground quickly. In specific cases, you could apply for 20% advance, and this advance payment need to be paid back during the project implementation, of course, but it is the principle with reimbursement that will apply, meaning that first you pay and then you document your expenses, and we will reimburse the eligible costs. And we always ask for an audited project report. We do not ask for all the nitty-gritty receipts, but they should be in the project file for inspections and for audit at a later stage. Yeah, I already mentioned is that the bilateral, the travel support facility is relaunched, is open. You could apply for travel support again. Then I would like to say that we will have a help desk from now on until end of October. Innovation Norway will reply to requests for clarifications and other questions. Please address your questions to this email address, which is the general email address of the program. Please do not call. It's better to send the questions in writing in English, and you will get an answer in English. And if we receive same type of questions over and over again, we will publish them under the frequently asked question that will also be available on the website. So I hope it has been useful information for you, and I wish you good luck in the preparation of project application. So, mulțumesc mult pentru atenție.
Good afternoon. My name is Mihai Stefanescu. I work as a senior program officer at the Innovation Norway Bucharest office. My main role now here is to guide you through, or at least give you some tips and tricks over our application, online application form. So through the next slide, we will go through some of the, let's say, main important aspects that you need to consider and should take into account once you start. We took some notes from the past and tried to work on a better online application form and to have a very smooth and intuitive application process. And as it was mentioned right by Annelise, there is a lot of reading. Once you start your application form, you will be greeted by the welcome screen, which has a lot of text. This welcome screen is divided in 3 important sections, which will lead you, which will guide you through the application process. On the left side, you will see that you have a structure which encompasses your project. On the middle, there is the core of your project where you'll describe what you need to fill in as text. And on the right side, you will have information that is necessary to guide you, or at least show you what you need to put into the main field. In this respect, you will see that you will have a division on the right side, which is field help, about the section, and also about the form and about the application. It is highly recommended that you will compile your project in a chronological order. Each of the sections on the left will transfer information into the next section. And in this respect, it's good that you follow the structure. Also, further this landing page, please note that there are important instructions in this welcome field, which is, refers to how to save your application form, or how to do the validity check, or in case you need some technical assistance. The first practical information which will mark the process of your project is to select your economic or non-economic profile. Once you do this, if you select economic, you will have a different structure than below. If you select non-economic, this will be the entire structure. And some of the elements, like external factors, financial statement, will no longer be valid. Also, another section which is important is a division between countries. This application form is valid also for the program launched in Bulgaria. So once you select your country, Romania, then a division of, let's say, the expense budget will change. In Bulgaria, we have a different expense budget structure, which is guided by the state aid structure. Also, please use your full legal name, which is written in the certification form. And for the NACE code, which is code KN in Romanian, please use the link on the right-hand side. And this will better guide you in order to understand what type of business you are carrying out. At the level of contact, what we encountered in the past was we've been offered email addresses that were no longer checked by anybody. That email address will be foreseen from the point of view of your application process as the official channel to communicate. So if we have clarifications to address, please use an email address that is going to be checked by a person that is habilitated to reply to questions. Another important aspect of your online work is related to files. So once you will start your application process, we have thought of how it's better to accept project applications, and we have a reply. This is it. This is our reply. No hard copies are going to be accepted to our office or to the Oslo office. Everything should be scanned and inserted into the application form. We expect that all mandatory attachments, which you will find on the website that I will show you later on, are submitted electronically. So please think on how to better present your project so that it may be easy to read on a digital form. In the past, we encountered many forms of scans, and it was a little bit of difficulty to understand what was written there. So that will might hinder the process of your project. This will help for our evaluation team to better understand what you aim from your project. Also, Type of documents. It was mentioned that the mandatory attachments need to be enclosed. We have on the website some specific regulations in terms of attachments. In this respect, please avoid submitting documents which are archived. Our system is not able to compute and read your archived documents. In this respect, use the documents which are described on the right side. There is a comprehensive list of type of documents that are accepted by the application form. Another aspect is related to the size of each attachment, which should not exceed 10 megabytes. In this respect, files need to be enclosed to the project application as an extra document in case you would like to, or the type of documents that are needed are not among those that we request. Equivalent to stamps is the validation part, but without the stamping. In this respect, once you reach this section, which is the last section of your project, you have to click on the validation button, and this will create a consistency check of your application. If different fields are not completed correctly, a red highlighted text will show in under the section that it requires to be filled in. Please use the function and repeat the validation process until all the necessary information is inserted. Your application will be submitted once all the sections are cleared. Your digital identification signature for the submitted project is visible throughout the form. Once you click Save and Close, you will be directed to, or you will obtain a specific series of numbers and letters that will identify your project application. Please remember this series of numbers that it will require. You will need it in order to, if you want to, let's say, address a question to the technical department or practical questions, and you have a problem with your online form. Also, as I mentioned, this will be the official communication page. This is the official link, which can be accessed as of today. Today we have posted the following information on the website. The call text will be shortly published once we complete this launch in Bucharest. You will note that in the first section you will have the mandatory documents, also the essential reading, and the call text. The call text will be also in a Romanian language, and it will be shortly posted on the website. This project I liked best from the former project promoters, and it's done at Ordinul Manufacturierilor. And it remembered me on the fact that creating handmade papers require time, effort, and attention. It's like also with the application form. It creates, creating and submitting a project application form is the same. It's important and requires time. So allow me to wish you good luck with your future application. And do use the email address that was mentioned previously to address any questions that you have. Thank you.